So you enjoy making videos. You know some people get paid for that, right? You are developing a skill. You know people might need to hire somebody like you, right? You just made a cool piece of art. You know people sometimes buy that, right? You just had a cool idea, but would people spend money on that though? Lately I've been realizing that all of my hobbies have to be potentially monetizable. Whenever I think about starting a new hobby or starting to build a new skill, one of the first thoughts that comes to my head is, could I make money off that in the future? Or could it help me in my career at some point? It's something that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently, and I still haven't come to any conclusion on, do I think that's a good or a bad thing? So I thought I would just share it with you, and then you can let me know what you think. How about that? And what better way to do that than to engage in some of those hobbies in the video. This is something I started doing a bit more than a year ago, and I used to do it quite a lot back then, but I kind of paused it. I kind of stopped doing it for a while because I wanted to focus more on videos and photography, but let's revisit it today for this video. And I'm trying to do a shirt with the logo of this channel on it for me to wear in my videos and just as a physical reminder that this channel exists. And while engaging in one of my newer hobbies, which is collecting vintage cameras. So I have my Cosina Highlight 402, which I'm gonna use a bit today, but I don't know how great that's gonna do today. What I have more hope for is, where is it? My old digicams, which I'm hoping, because their videos already kind of look like mystical and adventure type deal, I'm hoping that in today's weather condition, kind of foggy, kind of snowy, kind of cold, I hope they're gonna look pretty cool. I think the chances are pretty good. I'm kind of pissed because today I think we're having the best fog we've had all year. And I was hoping to capture that, but I came to this location and fog is kind of not here. So I don't know yet if we're even gonna capture anything good. Anyways, let me get some footage of this little river there. I hear some sort of waterfall back here. See if we can find that. I think there's also sometimes some like ice on this lake. Where's my camera? At this point I would say the only hobbies that I have that can't be monetizable in some way is like watching TV or watching YouTube videos or scrolling Instagram, and listening to music maybe. But yeah, that's the only thing that I do without any like thought of that's something that could help me later down the line. It's just for fun. So this hobby is a pretty good example of what I'm talking about. So for the longest time I never really cared about fashion or about how I look really. But then about a bit more than a year ago, when I first kind of started to care about fashion and about my style, I wanted to try making my own clothes so I could have something that I like. And the first few attempts sucked, but at some point I actually made some stuff that I think is kind of decent and I like wearing. But as soon as that happened, one of the first thoughts was instantly like, damn, I'm just gonna quit everything and become a fashion designer. Like, I'm gonna quit marketing, become a fashion designer. That's the plan. You know, that never happened. I actually kind of stopped making designs for a while now. I'm also just picking it back up for this video. But that's a good example of like, I'm trying to start a new hobby, start building a new skill, and instantly as it kind of is going well, one of the first thoughts is like, how do I monetize this? So it's something that could be monetizable.
Wo ist der bitte? Keine Ahnung. Ladet alles durch und geht nach oben,
Ich seh ihn!
Lol.
Jungs! Ja, ich hab ihn gekriegt, geil.
So I've been making content online across many different channels for over 7 years now. And during that whole time, I never got to the point where I could monetize any of my channels. So the only sort of financial return I ever got from content creation was a €5 PayPal donation and a Steam key for a game that a viewer gave me, which was very nice, but there's like no money. Despite this, pretty much the entire time I've been doing that, or at least for like the last 4 to 5 years, I've been thinking about, you know, some people do make money off their online content, and it's never happened for me yet. But just you wait. That next video is gonna go so viral and I'm gonna hit the magic 1000 subscriber mark, and then I'm gonna be rich. It's never happened, but the thought always was kind of there. Let me grab a quick shot of this cool thing there as well. Let's see. We are working with... Just don't know if I'm gonna capture anything like good on this camera today. I don't know if the conditions are right for it. I don't know. And like, that doesn't even have to be the whole like I'm gonna become a famous influencer type stick. So in my real life, my actual career is like social media marketing type deal, and I'm not gonna get too deep into that for privacy reasons, but basically I've spent so much time convincing myself that what I'm doing here is gonna help me in that career as well, because I already have produced quite a lot of like social media adverts and stuff like that, and for that, the fact that I've spent years now teaching myself how to create social media content obviously is good. At least that's what I tell myself, to make what I do right now seem less irresponsible. Because here's the thing, because none of my creative hobbies or none of my content creation pursuits have ever brought me any financial gain, the amount of time that I invest in that stuff becomes pretty hard to justify. Because the thing is this, my actual real career and my actual real like financial situation is definitely getting hindered by the fact that I, for example, won't take as many hours of work, so I can spend that time creating YouTube videos, that I will spend many months not having any like side jobs next to university, which really most students have, but for like months on end oftentimes I don't have any income on the side, because I prefer to spend my time after coming home from university doing this shit. And that gets pretty hard to justify at times, especially if you don't like at least tell yourself that what you're doing right now is really going to pay off later. I'm going to be so good at creating these great advertisements and stuff because of what I'm doing right now, and I'm not like an irresponsible fucking child. And that's one of the pretty much the biggest reason why I have always had this kind of hope that at some point I may be able to monetize my content to some extent. Because let's be real, if I made money from this right now, then what I'm doing right now, I wouldn't need to kind of think about, is it hurting my career or financial situation in any way, because it would just be a job. Like a mini job, a full-time job, I don't really care. But if there was some sort of financial return, then like it's just me working right now, as opposed to me like taking today off, having free time today. That may sound silly, or that might sound completely reasonable to you guys, but at the end of the day, like I'm 21 right now, and I'm not trying to be like the guy living in the parents' basement to create content for like 50 followers online for like much longer. If I could just say that like I'm a college student and this is kind of my mini job on the side to make some extra money, or if I could say like I have 2 jobs and this is one job, this is the other job, and I'm splitting my time between them, then like all of this would be
just so different. And of course the other aspect is money. And I think I'm pretty good at finding hobbies that are affordable.
Making the shirt you're seeing right now, like that's actually pretty cheap. Like if you find all the materials online on a good deal, like you can do that pretty cheap. But even like my newer hobbies, while I'm fortunate enough to have gotten, for example, this camera as a gift from my family for free, obviously I'm very lucky there. Like my most expensive camera, which is the one filming me right now, that was very expensive. At least for like me. There is really no upper border for how much money you can spend on film photography. That picture was something. Yes. That wasn't good. Anyways, there's like no upper border for how much money you can spend on this. Give me Bill Gates' net worth, I'll have that gone in 2 weeks. There's so many cameras that you could buy. Obviously, it is also a hobby that you can do on a budget, and I think my last video is a pretty good reference for that. But there really is no upper border for how much you could spend if you wanted to, or if you could afford it. There is a pretty cool like plant here. You're probably not gonna see me once I disappear down below the screen, but I don't care because that's a cool picture. Ugh. Now, I do think that there are some negative consequences to all of this. If you make a video just for fun and the video turns out bad or nobody watches it, then it might be kind of sad, but it doesn't matter. But if that video is something that was supposed to help you in your career, that's important to your career, to your financial situation in some way, then a failure becomes much worse. Being bad at your hobbies or failing at your hobbies now is more than just that. It's failing in your career as well in a way. And that makes mistakes, failures, all of this a lot worse. And I wouldn't say it reduces the amount of fun I have doing those things. It doesn't reduce the positive emotions kind of, but it does make the negative ones worse. And if I visit a nice location or I see a nice sunset and the pictures I take of it suck, then it's just much worse. I was never really good at video games, but if I were, then more people would watch my gaming videos. So being bad at video games is now more than just that. It's being bad at your career as well, in a way. Even though I never made money off that. That makes being bad at games so much worse. And I wouldn't say that this kind of thinking reduces the amount of joy I get out of my hobbies, but it does make being bad at those hobbies a lot worse and a lot more frustrating. I think this is all kind of rooted in this hustle culture we have right now. And I'm definitely a big part of that. As a kid, I watched so many motivational videos online and this kind of videos that's like, you need a side hustle at the age of 13 and shit. You know, just because you got home from school right now doesn't mean you shouldn't be thinking about your career still. In the age of the internet, if you're not trying to profit off your passions, then what are you even doing? What are you even doing? And that's very much so the kind of thinking that I had, that I kind of almost like beat into my brain with the content I was watching for a good while. But still, I couldn't really get myself to say that this is all bad. I'm slowly getting the feeling like this video is kind of escalating into a complete ramble fest, but what I'm kind of trying to say is this. The reason why I said it's hard for me to decide whether this is a good or a bad thing is this. For one, I think that me thinking of my hobbies, at least of the video and photo creation hobbies, as something that's connected to my career kind of makes sense. As I've explained, it's pretty much the same ballpark, and this is kind of like me learning new things that I'm gonna use in my job later on. Probably, hopefully, maybe. And also I think it's kind of, at least for me, a good way to feel like I'm engaging in those things in a kind of responsible way. At the other hand, there is downsides I've mentioned, and like in an ideal world, I guess we would be engaging in these kind of creative pursuits just out of pure love for fun, I guess, or just love for the thing. And I don't want this video to be misunderstood in a way that makes it sound like I only do those things I do right now for career or financial gain. Like, I still enjoy those things. Do you think I could have dragged my ass out here in like -5 degrees just for a job? No way. This is deeper than that. And that's a sentiment that I always hated, like creators that are actually making money from their content, like, oh, you're doing this only for the money. But that's the thing, like for somebody like me who really enjoys and loves what I'm doing right now, like making money of this or building some sort of career that's based on what I've already been kind of studying for years now would be so huge. Like, I don't think that's something that's crazy to say. Something that I've invested so much time into and that I want to invest so much more time into. Like, I want to make so many more videos. I have so many more cool ideas, but I need the time and the financial means to make all of those things happen. And I think saying that isn't crazy. I think it's completely reasonable. The reality of the situation is this. It's Christmas time when I'm recording it, so I've got some free time right now. All of the YouTubers are dropping their best of 2024 videos. Those are all gonna be watched later, for sure, but the reality is still this, that I'm out here, like I'm freezing to fucking death. I just destroyed my pants on some weird tree trunk over there that I was trying to sit on for a nice frame that would include the water, but I wasn't able to make it happen, sadly. And what exactly motivates me to do this, like, why would you care? And also, like, if you care, are you doing this shit? Ah, that was the dumbest idea I've ever had. I keep on seeing so many posts online that are like, guys, you need to do something. You can't just doom scroll for 10 hours. You need to have a hobby. And I think that if we say that thinking of your hobbies in a financial or career type of way is a bad thing, then we're kind of assuming that we would still be doing that stuff if we thought otherwise. And I think there is a lot more awareness now to, in the age of just the easiest possible free time activities you could have that are going to give you so much fun for so little effort. Motivating yourself to do something that's challenging or hard in any way is kind of difficult sometimes. That's something you have to actively choose and actively motivate ourselves to do, because the easy alternative that probably most of our brains are going to go to is this thing here, right? But even if there is no sort of financial or career benefit, you still are learning new skills and you still are gonna get some sort of creative fulfillment from the fact that there is something that I made that's here on my wall now. That's cool regardless, that's good regardless. And even if you don't get any sort of career benefit out of your hobbies, which you might never and I might never, there still is other benefits to it. There still is benefits to just creative fulfillment, mental well-being, hopefully. As I recently explored this topic a bit more and I was just trying to find out what my fellow humans think about this whole thing, I've noticed like a weird thing. It feels like more and more so we start to have to really convince ourselves to have creative pursuits, to have hobbies, to create and to build new skills and to do things that are challenging and hard sometimes in our free time. And you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm that much better. I still have crazy screen times that I'm racking up out here, but that's the thing, that's something that you need to somehow, if you want to have something like this or something like this, you need to get yourself to do it. And it seems like many people right now are struggling with that. That might not be ideal, but thinking of your hobbies as more than just something you do for fun and as something that's gonna help you in other ways kind of is that motivation. Just not even if you think about it in like a financial or career way, but many people are picking up hobbies like this to better their mental health or to better their physical health or to kind of be more interesting, to have more to talk about. It seems like we almost need to find excuses for us to have hobbies or creative pursuits. You should pick up soccer because that's good for your physical health. You should pick up some sort of art like drawing for your mental health. You should pick up reading for your not being TikTok brain rotted. You should pick up social media because in today's work environment, knowing how social media works is going to be good for your career. I think many people have some sort of ulterior motive behind why they do their hobbies. It's not just fun. They have some sort of goal they want to achieve with it, or maybe just hoping that it is going to fix something for them or help them in some way that's not just fun. Because if your intention with your hobby is just fun, then how are you gonna ever have more fun than watching TV? And why would you need to do something that's challenging and that requires effort for that? Because I think if we only did them for fun, like if I only did this for fun, and I didn't think that it would help my life in some sort of more advanced way than just making me happy right now, Like if I didn't think that this was going to give me creative fulfillment as well, of course, but also like some sort of learning that's going to help me later on in my life, then like if I just wanted to have fun today, I would not be out here. Like I wouldn't be freezing right now. I wouldn't have needed to walk all the way here in this cold ass weather. I wouldn't have to carry around all of my heavy camera equipment today. And like I was originally, I actually have the shirt you're seeing me make the whole time in this video. I have it on right now because my intention was to do like a fashion shoot in the fog type of deal, like nice fog, and then do a fashion shoot for the new shirt I made. I might just take a few shots right now as well before I leave, just kind of like to have something. But if I just wanted to have fun today, there would be ways to do that without all of the kind of downsides of doing something that's challenging. So I think that's why I feel like many people, myself included, have this kind of thing that they convince themselves like this is going to help me in ways that are more than just some fun right now, like help my mental health, help my physical health, help my career, help just my feeling of creative fulfillment and my feeling of being a creator, which many people seem to like really pursue right now, at least in the kind of YouTube bubble that I'm in. And maybe what I'm experiencing is just one brand of what I'm talking about, that this is just one way of convincing myself that this is worth it and that this is something that I should be doing. And this just seems to be something that we kind of need to do now, convince ourselves to do things like this. And I mean, I wouldn't be doing things like YouTube anymore if my only intention with it was money, because it's been 7 years and nothing of that sort happened, right? There still is an aspect of fun to it, but it's fun that's also undermined with having to put in effort. And that's where I kind of stand on this topic. Is like, is my approach to hobbies ideal or good? It might not be, but could I be over there in my bed scrolling on my phone right now? I could be. And that's something I'm happy about, that I'm doing that, I guess. And how I got myself to this point doesn't really matter. At least I'm here doing all of this. But for sure, tell me down in the comments, guys, do you guys also have some sort of ulterior motives behind your hobbies like this? Do you also have something that you think you're gonna get out of doing hobbies or having creative pursuits that you kind of use to convince yourself and to motivate yourself to actually do those things? And if yes, what are they? Definitely tell me, because I'm really interested in what other kinds of flavors there are to this whole thing. Because I think there's gonna be way more things and people that just think differently than I do. I'm kind of interesting what it is. And tell me what you think about it. Do you think that's something that's like bad, that you need to have something that you think you're gonna get out of having a creative pursuit? Or do you think that it's good that you have that thing that you can use to get yourself to do things like this and like this? Yeah, I think the sun is leaving right now and I have to walk all the way back before it gets dark. But I think I'm just gonna use this scene right here to take some quick pictures of the shirt. Gonna have seen it as the thumbnail of this video, probably. And yeah, then I will leave and go home and warm up my poor cold hands. Should have brought gloves, I forgot. I don't know if it's fully done. But there's just a bunch of empty space over here that I can't do anything about. Well, I'll figure that out later. Time to turn the camera off.